Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress with a video on the best resignation of all time. It's all about this tweet. It is from Olympiad G. Urkan. He says the best resignation in chess has to be that of Vladimir Schmidt to Kasparov in the last round of the 27th Chess Olympiad in Dubai on December 1st, 1986. Let's look at that little clip. The 27th Chess Olympiad, organized by FIDE and comprising an open and a women's tournament, took place between November 14th and December 2nd, 1986 in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. The Olympiad was marred by politics. With the event being held in an Arab nation, Israel could not participate, being in an official state of war with several Arab countries. In protest, Western European nations like Denmark, Norway, Sweden and the Netherlands did not come to Dubai, and strong individual players like Viktor Korchnoi, Robert Hübner and Eric Lobron also stayed away. The Soviet Union was able to field the strongest possible team, led by reigning world champion Kasparov and ex-champion Karpov. They had just finished their third World Championship match earlier in 1986. Even so, the Soviet Union only finished half a point ahead of England, and they only managed to capture the top spot in the last round. The US, who had led the table after the penultimate round, had to settle for the bronze medals. And here we see the top three. The Soviet Union took gold, England took silver, and the US took bronze. It's nice to see the names of those team members in the table as well. Garry Kasparov won 2 individual gold medals for performance rating of 27.46, and he only got a gold medal for board 1 with 8.5 points out of 11 games, a 77% win rate. So the game Schmidt-Kasparov was played in the last round. Poland against the Soviet Union, the gold medal on the line. World champion Kasparov had the black pieces against the Polish Grandmaster Vladimir Schmidt on board 1. The opening was a Benko gambit, and this is the position after the 46th move from white, king c2 to b2. Black is better in this knight endgame, with the a-pawn being a big distraction for the white pieces. King b2 was played. That king wants to pick up the a-pawn and then hurry back to the king side. Knight f3, attacking the h2 pawn, was Kasparov's move. h4 on move 47. Knight back to e5, and now king a3, and the engine does not like that move and thinks white should have tried knight c3 instead, also attacking the a-pawn. Then the engine gives this line, knight d3 check, and the king goes to c2. And then black plays a3, knight b5 check with a fork, king e4. Black still has the upper hand, but this would have been a better option for white. So in this position, knight c3 should have been played, but king a3 was Schmidt's move. It makes sense, going after the a-pawn as quickly as possible. King e4, and now h5. That's Schmidt's idea. He's trying to swap a pawn or break up the black pawns. And pushing the pawn, keeping the pawns intact on the king side, is not good for black, because then white can play f4, and that swaps a pair of pawns. G takes, king takes, and king takes a4, withdrawing chances. I did not consult the table base. Obviously, with the king so far away, white is still very much up against it to save this position. It might still be winning for black, and definitely in a practical game. But after h5, Kasparov did not push the pawn, he took on h5. Yes, black has doubled pawns, but as we know, knights are very bad pieces to fight against an a or h pawn. Black is winning. Knight c3 check, king f3, and knight d5. Here you can take on f2, but then there is knight f6, attacking both h pawns. King takes, knight takes h5 check, and white is still fighting. His next move is to take that pawn on a4. But after knight d5, Kasparov decided not to take on f2. He played knight g4. Knight e7 from Schmidt. Knight takes f2, knight f5, and knight e4. The knights go dancing. Now Schmidt finally takes that pawn on move 54, and black takes on g3. So it's now all about the h-pawns. Will black be able to promote one of them? Knight h4 check, king e4, king b4. The king has to go back to the king side, and knight f5. And after this move, Schmidt made a dramatic gesture with his arms, which Olympiad called the best resignation in chess. And he did that 35 years after it happened. Let's look at that nice little clip again. Black resigned here, as Kasparov is going to push his furthest advanced h-pawn down the board. For example, knight g2. Of course, you cannot allow a swap of knights. And then h4 is possible, and that pawn is protected by the black knights. King c3, what else is there? The pawn keeps going. Knight e1, h2, and that pawn is going to touch down in the corner. You can play a little trick, knight d3, but black can still promote if he wants. Yes, there is a fork. Knight f2 check wins the queen, but it doesn't help white. King f3, knight takes h1, king g2, and that wins the knight and the game. For example, king d3, king takes, king e4, the knight drops back, and black plays up the h-pawn, which is untouchable while it's protected by the knight. And if the king attacks a knight, the pawn starts running. After knight d3, of course, you don't have to promote. You can also play king e3, followed by promotion of the pawn, and an easy win for black. So it is understandable that after knight f5, Schmidt threw in the towel with that dramatic gesture. The best resignation of all time. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, that you give it a thumbs up, that you subscribe to the Chess to Impress channel, and that you leave a comment. I will read them all and I will reply to them all. If you liked the video, it would be great if you could share it on social media by clicking the share button on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram, on Twitter and on Facebook. This is Rick for Chess to Impress. Thank you for watching.